behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Palm Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a great interview coming up momentarily. But before we get into that, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell, and you're always going to get the latest episodes whenever available. And I hope you'll leave a comment on the comment section and tell us what you think. And if you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/PalmMashTV. And you can follow us there, send us an inbox, comment on the things you see there. And if you'd like to email us as well, you can. It's palmmashtv, all one word, @gmail.com. And you can use that if you're a band or a solo artist wanting to be on the show. But we love fan mail as well. So if you're simply a fan and want to send us an email that way, we'll get back to you. And all this is going to be recapped for you at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Nova Scotia, Canada today, we have Fraser Newcombe. Very talented country artist, and I think you agree. And we're going to get to that in just a second because it starts right now. Okay, here we are with the interview as promised. And from Nova Scotia, Canada, we have Fraser Newcombe today. Thanks for joining us, Fraser.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We've had a heck of a time getting him on the show. He's been having a lot of problems with the video thing here, but at least we got it finally figured out now. So
we hope so, anyway.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you got serious as being an artist, because you know everyone has their own story, and let's hear your story.
Well, my story, this goes way back to in the day. There's always around the household growing up, there was always music in the household, okay? Mm-hmm. And my father was a singer, and my mother played mouth organ. I got different siblings that play different instruments and sing. So, and then we got one, when we grew up, got a little older, whatever, we formed our family band. And we had that for years. It was called the Newcombe Ears. Mm-hmm. So we had that for years. And then things happened, you know. Someone got married and someone didn't like doing this and so on and so forth. So I sort of branched out on my own. And then I joined the service and I forgot about it for a few years. And then after I got out of the service, I came back to it. We got a little band together again. And we started playing local clubs and stuff like that, you know. And then one day I got a call. Somebody wanted me to open for Tommy Cash, Johnny Cash's brother. Well, I couldn't believe that story. I still don't, but it did happen. So, and from that, my wife said, you got to do a CD. So here I am, 10 CDs later. And talking to you and going to Europe on a tour and so on and so forth. So, and then I started writing my own songs. I wrote about 50 or 60 recorded songs to date. So here I am talking to you, Paul.
Okay. Well, that's quite a career, especially getting to record with Johnny Cash's brother. That's probably a really awesome thing that happened to you anyway. So
well, it really was an awesome thing to happen. And I met Tommy, and we did several shows together after that. And he's a real nice guy. We hit it off like together, and and I was down to his home in Nashville, in Tennessee, and so on, and it just goes on and on and on. And then I started to, then I went to Nashville Days, and I toured Nashville all down through Somerset, Kentucky, and I made several trips through the States on tour, and I had a great time. They treated me like gold down there. Wow. And I'll be going back again in March, I think. So, of course, my wife played a big part in it. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be talking to you today, probably, because she was the one that gave me the big push and told me to keep going. Because I didn't believe in it myself, I tell you. I just thought I was just another local yokel, just doing that. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but Anyway, here I am today.
Well, that's good there, and want to thank Pamela for sending me some of the artists, especially Fraser here. So I'm sure she's going to be sending me many more down the road. What were some of the artists that you looked up to? I mean, obviously you said Johnny Cash. I'm sure he was one, and George Jones, I guess. So name some others that you looked up to.
Oh, Johnny Cash, George Jones, Boxcar Willie, particularly. I just loved his stuff. Boxcar, I do a lot of Boxcar Willie. Matter of fact, I do a tribute to Boxcar. And there's some Canadian stomping Tom Connors and Canadian and Conway Twitty, of course. And I do a lot of their songs, the cover songs, and I really enjoy it. There's the old type music is what I really enjoy. The old real country music. That's what I call it anyway. Maybe
you mentioned Boxcar Willie, and you're right on that. He was one of the true legends of real country music. So
for sure, yeah. There was old Boxcar. I wrote a tribute song to Boxcar also. And and I met Boxcar Willie down here one time, long time ago. And I took a liking to him then. I went to see his show, and he came right up and talked to me just like an everyday person. And that really stuck with me. And Hank Snow, of course. Hank Snow was born and brought up not too far from where I'm living right now. And every year they have a big tribute to Hank Snow. So I did a tribute to Hank Snow called Hank Snow and the Battery Radio prior to doing one for George Jones. so I wrote a lot of tribute songs. I just enjoy doing that. And so that's where I'm at there.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was another one I hadn't thought about in a long time. Hank Snow. He definitely is another legend there. So, why don't you tell everybody how to download your music or following on all those social media sites? We'd love to hear.
Yeah, you just go on Facebook, Fraser Newcombe, or you can email me at fraser@bellalion.net. Or if all else fails, give me a call, 902-473-9238.
Okay.
Or email me, fraser@bellalion.net.
Okay. Are you on all social media? I mean, not social media, but streaming sites, like iTunes and so forth?
I think so. I'm not sure. I don't follow that.
Okay.
I do a lot of stuff that I don't even know they're doing.
Okay. Well, go on Facebook anyway. Type Fraser Newcombe, and you can follow him there. And
or YouTube. YouTube is I got some music on YouTube. I know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and go to YouTube and type in some of his videos there. I think you'll be impressed. And we're going to ready to watch. And we were just talking about a tribute to George Jones, and that's actually the name of the song. I mean, that must have been really awesome, tributing a legend like George Jones there.
Yeah, when I wrote that after George Jones passed, I sat down and I wrote that song one evening, actually. And it turned out to be one of my better versions, I think. Anyway, I don't know. It's went a long ways. It's been on the charts, I think, somewhere overseas and stuff like that.
Okay.
But he's a real true legend, George Jones.
Okay. Well, it is a great song, and I know everyone out there is going to love that. And we'll get to that in a second. But thank you so much, Fraser, for coming on the show. One day we'll have you back on sometime, and I would love to have you back a second time.
Anytime at all, just give me a holler. Now that we know how to do it, we'll try her for a second time.
Oh, I hear you, man.
As long as I can remember that long, I'm all right.
Okay. Well, without further delay, let's watch a tribute to George Jones by Fraser Newcombe, and it starts right now.
They placed a wreath upon his door. We won't see him anymore. There's a lot of country singers the good Lord called to rest. Of all those country singers, I think George Jones was the best. There's entertainers out there that's tried to sing his way, but unlike him, they couldn't sing. He stopped loving her today. The good Lord called George Jones away. They placed a wreath upon his door. We won't see him anymore. Now he's been called quite often, No-Show Jones and the Possum, but he still moved on, sang his song. He'll never be forgotten. One of the greatest singers the world has ever known. Will always be remembered as the legend called George Jones. He stopped loving her today. The good Lord called George Jones away. They placed a wreath upon his door. We won't see him anymore. We know he had his troubles, like many of us do, but he still moved on, sang his song that pleasured me and you. He's gone but not forgotten. His legacy lives on. Wherever you roam, you'll hear George Jones singing his country song. He stopped loving her today. The good Lord called George Jones away. They placed a wreath upon his door. We won't see him anymore. Who's gonna fill his shoes? Who's gonna sing them songs? Who's gonna play the possum now that George is gone? He stopped loving her today.